Let's get into our panel. Small Business Women Australia founder Amanda Rose. She's been everywhere again this week, including writing columns for the Daily Telegraph, and Sky News contributor and Daily Telegraph hero of the campaign, Joe Hildebrand. Both join us to dip into this week's news cycle. Amanda, Joe, welcome. Love the campaign. Love the work you're both doing on it. I want to play this grab, and I'll start with you, Joe. Here's the Prime Minister speaking after a visit to Rio Tinto's Dampier Port. This is way up in northwest Western Australia in Karratha this afternoon. Have a look, and I want to know what two words are missing from what he says here.
We saw the ship loader in operation today, loading 10,000 tonnes an hour onto ships. There are 4 ships here at the moment. 3 of them are going to China. 1 of them is going to Vietnam, producing wealth for Australia. Rio Tinto, its operations here throughout the Pilbara and the Kimberley mean that about 1 million tonnes a day go out.
Joe, would it really kill him to say those 2 words?
I'll take iron ore for $20,000, thanks, Eddie. Yeah, look,
Correct.
obviously...
Ding, you're the winner.
Yeah, look, obviously he's signalling to the mining industry that poor old Tanya Plibersek, whatever new environmental protocols she's got in the wings, are not going to get up, and that he is all in behind the mining industry. But of course, I suppose iron ore, a bit like coal, is the love that dare not speak its name between Labor and the West. And so I think he's done the right thing. I just spoke to our reporter in Karratha actually just an hour or 2 ago, and yeah, it's obviously a clear, very clear signal from the PM, as he did by kiboshing a previous sort of nature first kind of green tape, that he's all in with the mining industry, both I think ideologically and politically during the campaign.
He just flew in there, didn't say the words, and flew straight out again, and knows that he's probably got away with it. I don't think I'm being too harsh on him. I mean, surely you can say the words iron ore. We all saw the ships in the background, for God's sake. Amanda, something you understand much better than I do, that's social media. Now, the Coalition, Labor, all of the Teals, they've poured millions of dollars into advertising on something called Google and something called Meta. I'm not quite sure what either of those are, but this was in the first week of the campaign. Amanda, you know this stuff. This must work for them, given the amount of money that's going in there.
Well, yes, and because we live in a society now that is focused on social media, and they're trying to get the younger demographic as well, and we all know that they're on social media. It's fascinating, though, that I see that the Labor Party is so happy to spend, nearly $1 million, probably spend millions by the time the election's over, trying to win back, running the country. And it's $1 million so far more than they've actually spent on small business. So they only care about getting back in. Like, they're actually not doing anything of value when it comes to, okay, you've got an ad, okay, you've got a meme, okay, you've got something like that. But what are you doing to help the communities that over the last 3 years you've systematically destroyed by making supply costs go up, energy costs go up, small businesses are shutting down, the communities are suffering because then they don't get the money from the small business. So great, you're spending money. I understand it's election campaign, but it's a little insulting to the person that just shut the doors of their business, saying, why are you spending so much money to get re-elected and you haven't spent a cent on the small business sector?
Yeah, I want to talk to you about that in a bit more length in a moment. You wrote a column about that today. Joe, can you explain to me Clive Palmer's trumpet of patriots? I see these yellow and black ads. They're paying your salary at the Daily Telegraph because they're plastered all over the front page of the Herald Sun, everywhere. This is a party that he basically took over because he forgot to re-register his own. He got 1 member of Parliament elected last time after spending millions and millions of dollars. Yeah. What is it about this guy and doing this? Is it just something that he knows, because he's so rich, he just likes stirring the pot? Well, he's not going to get anyone elected, is he?
Yeah, I don't think so. The last poll I saw, trumpeted patriots had actually gone from 2% to 1%. So that's what Clive Palmer's advertising.
That's because he's annoying everyone with those awful ads.
That's right. And I have to say the placement of these ads seems passing strange to me as well. I mean, I've seen heaps of these giant billboards in the inner west, which is about as green as a footy field, that they would very quickly turn into native vegetation and ban anyone from playing footy on. So it's very strange placement. I thank him very much for putting them in the Daily Telegraph. Thank you very much, Clive. I and all my colleagues are very, very grateful. But I think it just goes to show, with, like, you know, if your ads aren't selling a message that people want to hear and that resonate with people, it doesn't matter how much money you spend, you are simply not going to get through.
Right.
Amanda, tell me one small business policy from either side that you can grab hold of and say that's fantastic.
Silence. Look, the thing
Silence.
is, because there hasn't been. So what I've noticed that they're doing is they're taking things that subsidies or things that they've already created, and they're trying to attach it to small business. So they'll have something and go, oh, how can we link this to small business in some way? Yes, I understand with cutting the fuel excise is going to help, you know, tradies, but very minimal. People need cash flow. Small business need cash flow. So they need government contracts. They need to be included in the money that's already been spent, or income tax relief for the small business owners that aren't even paying themselves right now. So there's no money at all. They're having to let go of staff. So I'm not impressed with either side. I know Labor will never, ever have anything for small business. They've allocated $22 billion for the big end of town and called it Future Australia Made, which I wrote about today. And if you look at it, it's just money going to big companies to buy things that has nothing to do with encouraging innovation in this country. The entrepreneurs have been left behind, small businesses have been left behind, and it's absolutely insulting to have any Labor politician during this election campaign stand up and say that they're a party for sole traders, tradies and small business, because they're not.
And Joe, the crazy thing about that, and Amanda's 100% right, they spend the whole campaign dragging TV crews and people, journos, into small businesses, coffee shops, pubs, fruit and veg stores. They go to all these joints, but they're not doing anything to help them.
Yeah, well, I mean, both parties have done the instant asset write-off. So Labor's 20,000 and Peter Dutton's 30,000 cap. So there is that, and that provides cash flow relief. And Labor has provided tax cuts for income tax cuts for everybody.
That is
exactly what you said.
$5, don't shut your business down. And an asset write-off, if you don't have money to buy the asset, you're not writing anything off. You're shutting your business down because you've got no cash.
But some things have been done. I understand that it's not enough and it will probably never be enough. But they have done a couple of things. And you know, a $5 tax cut is better than no tax cut at all.
Oh, that's even worse, Joe. That is the most insulting thing you could say.
All right. Okay.
Your whole livelihood's been thrown down the drain. And here's $5, you know, pay for your funeral.
Well, I'm sure that they could do more in consultation with you about it, but I would not
You're in trouble,
with you
Joe.
on television, I promise.
You're in trouble. You're not as much trouble, though, as this independent candidate. Her name's Deb Leonard. I think she's a teal. Have a look.
I know it's kind of mid to hear this white woman rap, but you know what's even worse? Putting up with Canberra's crap. 2025, we got a chance to make it right. Stand up in Fish Creek and Tura. Let's fight!
God help me, Amanda. What was that?
It's cultural appropriation.
I think her friend hates her because I would never let my friend do that, ever. I would literally no. So her people hate her. That's all I have to say.
Joe?
Look, this is disgraceful. As someone who has spent my life championing identity politics, I feel it's terrible. I mean, what's she going to do next? Get a set of cornrows? I mean, this is cultural appropriation at its worst. It is just shameless racism. When will the colonisation stop?
Calm down, Joe.
It's an election campaign and we love it, don't we? Thank you both. I'll see you next week.